The world of REANIMAL is filled with many grotesque creatures and many disturbing imagery. But hidden among the game's deadly creatures are three that either are forgotten in the background or underutilized in the game. Today we're taking a closer look at the patrons trapped inside the Sniffers movie theater and reveal what they actually look like from the front. We'll also examine the mysterious pigs and the massive whale, two disturbing creatures that left a lasting impression on many players, despite how little screen time they got. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like, and feel free to share your thoughts on these creatures as well. We're all familiar with the movie theater found in the Sniffers territory. We watch as he guides our hooded friend in, and we are compelled to chase after them. After finding the chain cutter to break in, we see a theater full with what I decide to call the patrons. When I first saw this scene, I assumed they were all lifeless corpses who are victims of the sniffer, just laid out by him, but you guys pointed out in the earlier videos that they are slightly moving and are alive. They pay no mind to us as we scoot past them, but if they are alive, why do they ignore us? It feels like everything in REANIMAL is trying to devour or maim us. Using FreeCam, we're able to break free from the camera's restraints and see what the patrons look like from the front. I certainly wasn't expecting the movie patrons to not have eyes. They all are also missing the lower half of the body and surprisingly have a good amount of detail for creatures that we only see from the back. I would have expected a faceless creature to save time on modeling them, but these creatures have fairly detailed mouths. Among the crowd are a mix of men and women. The women in particular have a vibrant red lipstick over their mouths. The crowd of patrons don't even react when the sniffer walks across the screen dragging a body. Their lack of eyes seems to explain why they don't seem to respond to us at all as we scoot through a row. I suspect that this scene may have had some inspiration from the early 1900s, where people used to go to movie theaters simply to rest, regardless of what was actually playing on the screen. Some even end up falling asleep due to the dark lighting and the comforts that the theater may provide. This behavior really isn't any different from today, where we would unwind from a long day by sitting on the couch and playing some random movie or show to have as background noise. REANIMAL is filled with many dark and gloomy scenes, but this time we find ourselves in a lush, flowery field. At the end of the field is a rundown barn, which is home to the pigs. Inside, we immediately notice a pig with their entrails spilled out, with rats having a feast. The only movement we see from the pig is the stomach to simulate some sort of breathing, but the lack of eye movements and response tells me that it may not actually be alive. If I was to give a grim thought, it would be that rats are inside feasting on the pig. Further into the barn are many more pigs who are eating some unknown mounds of feed. The pigs here are very plump, with many visible flies swarming around them. At the end of the barn is a pig that is 4 times the size of every other pig. Here we can see that the pig is in the process of devouring another smaller pig. This creature is so gluttonous that it will eat another one of its kind. We can look inside the pig to see the terrified look of the pig being devoured. The massive pig's guts are exploding out of his belly, but it won't stop it from eating. Someone or something even took the time to stitch up this pig's stomach. When we enter the barn, the rats in here will scurry away from us, and there is nothing we can do for the pig with his guts spilling out. Going further in the barn, we can push the pigs aside in order to make our way through. The massive pig at the end of the barn will begin to fully devour the smaller pig. All we know, this pig might be the mother who is devouring its own young for its own gain of filling its own belly even more. The pig does acknowledge us, but with only a single word: leave. It turns back so it can continue eating the mysterious feed. There is nothing we can do with this massive pig. The next time we see it is when we return to the barn, while being chased by the pelican. If we stay where we are, the pigs will eventually crush us. If we do leave the barn, the pigs will just disappear from the scene, which is quite a shame since we never see the talking pigs ever again. We do see one last pig in the orphanage. This pig is lowered down into a hole by the spider kids and is shortly grabbed by the mother and pulled deeper down into the hole. We can see that same pig passing by while we're underground. When we approach the pig, we can see that it is cowering in the corner, and we can provide a little bit of comfort by rubbing our head against it. While sailing across the sea, we are greeted by a giant battleship which is split in two, and between the split battleship is a long fleshy creature. Throwing harpoons at it will not trigger the creature to react. Going into free cam, we can find the tail fin of the creature and follow it inside to discover a massive whale with a long worm-like body. Strangely enough, there is another tail near the head of this creature. The whale's body is scratched up and scarred. We can see that his left eye is missing and his right eye for some reason is popping out of his head. We can even get a closer look at the teeth and guess that based on all the features, it would be based on a sperm whale. When we first approach the creature, it does not react to us much. We can only see water pour out from its missing eye, which we can get from the brook horse found at the bottom of the sea. While going down the lift, we can find another model of the whale with both his eyes. It looks like they are using two whale models to give us the illusion that the whale has a very long body. Skipping to after we have brought back the eye, we can see our character will push the eye into the whale where it will immediately get control of it. Satisfied with his new eye, we can watch as the whale moves to leave the battleship. We get a better view of how long the whale's worm-like body is. The worm-like whale was very fascinating, and it's quite a shame that we don't see any more of it past this section of the game. Since we're on the topic of whales, we can fast forward a bit into the game where we can find a secret tunnel which has many whales beached along the rocks which surrounds this shrine. This is a strange sight to see as there are just many whales who coincidentally got beached in the same spot. I wonder if the shrine that is located here compelled these creatures to beach themselves. But that should be it for these three creatures. If you have any fun facts to add about them, feel free to share down in the comments below. At this time, the DLCs for REANIMAL have not yet released, so we'll pick this game back up once we get some new creatures and new interactions to play with. Thank you all for your support on the series so far, so until next time, I will see you all later.